Hey everybody, back again, and today we're going to do a build review of the BF-109 by Airfield. This is a 1400 millimeter airplane, so a nice big wingspan, about 55 inches, just a little over 55 inches. About the same size as the P-51. The P-51 is 57 inch, 1450 millimeter wingspan. Before we get into this, I just wanted to address a couple questions that a couple of people had. Somebody had asked me when I'm going to be doing the flight review for the Max Jet SR-71, and the answer is I'm not sure, but hopefully soon. Got two issues with that. First off, my main camera that I use is broken, so this is a standby camera, and unfortunately this one, the autofocus likes to focus in and out when recording airplanes in the air, so it wouldn't be so good for that. I'm not even sure about doing the flight review with this camera on this plane. And then the second issue is the fact that I want a really long flat runway. I can't do it from my runway here, so I want a long road. I know of a place, but I may not be able to get there for a little bit yet. So I know I keep putting it off, but it will be coming. The plane's all together. Got to do some final tweaks to it, but I will fly it when possible. So let's get started on this build here. Hold on just one second. I left the instructions someplace. Okay, back with the instructions. Yes, I am doing this sitting on the floor today. I just thought I'd do something different. I do this a lot. I build a lot of my planes sitting on the floor. This carpet here makes it really nice so that if it has lots of colors and blends all in, so if you drop a screw or a nut or a washer or something like that, the next time you'll see it is when you hear the clunk in the vacuum cleaner. But anyways, the instructions here are really straightforward. There was a change that I wanted to address here. If you look at step number 7 of installing the rudder, it says 6x40, 2 pieces. It looks like that's actually changed to 6x35 for those screws. The 6x40s, there's 4 of them, and those are for installing the wings. So let's get started. This looks a lot simpler than the P-51 build. Should only take a few minutes to do. So first we start off. It starts off really easily by putting in the wing support here. So we'll just slide that into one of the wings. And it looks like we're going to have to loosen that screw. There's a screw down here that tightens down around it. And it doesn't look like it mentions that neither. There's one other plane that was like this. It's really nice that tightens down like that. The P-51 doesn't. The F6F, I believe it was, had this same setup. And it really is nice, kind of clamps down around that so that it's not coming out, makes it nice and stiff. So, put that in. Now we're going to put it into the fuselage of the plane, like so. We're going to feed the cables for the servos up in through the hole here. There's only one place they can go, and we'll hook those up later. One thing I should mention while I'm putting this together here is something that they don't mention doing in the instructions is putting the control horns on. Now I haven't done that on the wings yet, but I'll come back and do those in a few minutes. I have done those on the elevator, on both sides of the elevator, and on the rudder. And this was a lot easier than on the P-51. The P-51, one of the main complaints was the length of the screws were just a little bit too short, and it looks like they're paying attention, and they're actually now supplying 2 screws, 2 different size screws for each one. The longer one goes for the thicker edge, and then the shorter one goes for the back edge, thinner edge. So these went in really simple, not nearly as hard as the P-51. Basically, take the longer screw, drop it in, tighten it down. Went in real easy, and then the back one just had to squeeze it together just a little bit. So I do recommend putting those on. Even the ones on the ailerons, I recommend putting those on before putting the plane together. Even though I didn't get the ailerons done yet, I'll come back to that. But we'll get the main build done here first before I go back and do that. Okay, so I'm going to loosen this up on this wing as well. So that support can slide right up in there. Needs to be a little bit looser. Well, this handy dandy little screwdriver actually comes with the plane. I don't know if it's getting good. There we go. Wasn't getting good bite in that screw before I got it now. So that's something nice. All these planes by Airfield come with a screwdriver and also a Allen head wrench. So they really have all the tools needed. They do come with glue as well. Still not loose enough. Out, or else I'm going to start dinging these things up. Then they won't look good. I want to do that. So I'm going to cut away for a second here and see if I can figure out what's going on and why that's not going in. I think it's just don't have it loose enough. So let me see what I can do. I'll be right back and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so took me all about 30 seconds to figure that out. I just need to loosen up a little bit more, and then it went right in. So I'm going to tighten those down. I haven't tightened those down yet, so go ahead and tighten those down. I'm going to double check these again before the first flight too. I'll make sure that those are good and tight, because those are the support for the wings. I guess I had that one really loose. This one down. Okay. Now I'll grab the screws here. These are the 6x40. And there's 4 of them. And that screws the wings down into position. And drop them in there. Hopefully these all line up. Should. See what we got here. Okay, so they're going right down in. This will take a few seconds. I know I said I was going to try to do this in one take, but there's no sense in you standing around watching me put a few screws in, so I'll finish these up and then we'll move on to the tail section. Okay, I put those screws down in actually cheaped a little, got out the good old cordless drill and screwdriver, and zip those right down in. Just don't go too far. I wanted to take them in a little bit too far. So they look pretty good. So let's move on to the tail section now. I'm going to set the plane out of the way. So the next steps is to apply glue to the elevator. This elevator has a nice support here, and it actually shows applying glue down in the groove here. I think it might be easier if I put just a little bit along the support spar. Now I'm using Gorilla Glue. I've really become really fond of Gorilla Glue over the past year or so. I used to really like epoxy, 2-part epoxy, and I still do. But 2-part epoxy doesn't seem to bond really well with the EPO and EPP foam. EPS it does great. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here. The thing that you have to watch with Gorilla Glue is it expands. It takes a while to dry, and when as it dries, it kind of expands. It makes almost like a foamy type texture. So if you put too much, then you're going to have to trim a lot of extra foamy stuff sticking out. So I go with a really light coating, but it bonds like crazy. So that's good enough there. Sorry about that. Battery on the camera died, so we're back functioning now. So, like I was saying, put a little bit of Gorilla Glue on the supports and insert it into the tail member. That's the stabilizer in the elevator. I'm going to pass it right through there. I'm not going to put glue on that quite yet. I'm going to do the stabilizer first. Make sure we've got a little bit of glue on that all the way down through. Like I said, just go sparingly thin on that, because we don't want to clean up a lot of extra after it dries. That should be good. Now I'm going to move that out of the way just a little bit. Put just a little bit on either side of this. A little bit on the back. Okay. Squish that into place, just like that. I'm going to take the other side. I'm going to take just a little bit of glue, put it right on these flat surfaces where it's going to mate together. A little bit thick there, so I'm going to spread it a little bit. And a little bit on the top and bottom. Don't want a lot because you don't want it squishing out as it dries. That's good. I'm going to try to set that spar in there. Hopefully you can see this okay. We'll run that right down there. Squeeze it right in. Okay, next up. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the completed tail section here and install it. Just double check this the screw on the servo down in here for the tail wheel steering. Just make sure that's tight because we're going to close this in. So just going to take a little bit of glue and go right along the edge here. Again, not a whole lot. And that kind of seats down in, so we're going to put a little bit on there, on this edge. See, I'm kind of putting a real thin bead and then just kind of spreading it in. And go a little bit on each side there too, where that sits down in. And I could do a little bit on this front edge because that does make contact by look, so we'll just do a real small amount there. Should slide right down in, just making sure that the push rods are all out of the way here. Fits like a glove. Okay.